Hello and welcome to this tutorial on gain staging. If you're not familiar with what gain staging is, in basic terms it's the process of optimizing the signal flow from our source sound, whether that's an audio file, sample, plugin or hardware synth etc, all the way through to our final mixed output. This video will focus on two major factors: using gain staging to avoid digital distortion or clipping, and also to improve the quality of any effects or processing we apply to our sounds. We can apply the techniques in this video to many other systems, whether it's hardware or software, but for this obviously I'm using the MPC. So I'm going to press and hold my menu button and press pad 14 and go to program edit. So on pad 1 I've got a short beep sound with a delay insert effect added to it, and on pad 2 I've got a breakbeat. Let's first of all talk about pad 1. If we take a look at the pad level here, you can see it's at 0 dB. If I trigger this pad, you'll hear the delay, but if I shut off the sound, the delay will also be shut off. That's because the pad level in the MPC is post insert, which means this controls the sound after any effects that we add to this pad. So if we've added an effect, any distortion that might be occurring cannot be controlled, reduced or improved by reducing our pad volume. We need to reduce it somewhere else. Let's go to the second page for our samples, and you can see that we've got 4 level controls for each of the layers for each of our pads. So if I trigger this pad now and reduce the level for the layer, you'll still hear the delay. So this means that we can use the level control for the layer for this pad to control the amount of volume that is fed into our effects. So let's bring this back up to something around 30, and that should be a good place to start. We could use the dedicated gain control that is found in the drum effects, which were implemented into MPC since 2.10. So let's go to the second page for our effects, and you can see in the bottom right hand corner we've got a gain control here. This is also pre-insert as the layer volume is. So we can use this to reduce the volume of our sample. However, it's not suitable. The reason is because this introduces some kind of transient or attack at the start of our sample. Let's use the breakbeat to demonstrate this. So I'm going to play the sequence back and then reduce the gain, and you'll hear that the kick at the start of this sample can still be heard, but the rest of the sample is reduced significantly. So it's a shame because this gives us feedback as to how many decibels we're reducing our sample and thus feeding into any effects, but it introduces this attack, which is a shame. So we'll just have to use our ears and a bit of guesswork when using our level control for our sample layer. So I would say somewhere around 30 or 40 would be a good place to start. Let's bring that back up to the maximum of 127. Let's go back to our insert effects page and switch on the distortion grimy effect, which I've got added here. Let's play this back and listen to the breakbeat with the distortion applied. Now if you want a really muddy distorted sound, that's great, that's fine. And you can also see that if we go to the pad mixer, it's not actually clipping. However, let's go back to the program editor. Let's go back to the second page for our samples and reduce the pad layer level. Let's bring that down to what we said before, somewhere around 30 or 40. Now let's take a listen to how this distortion sounds. So we haven't significantly reduced the volume, which wouldn't be great because we might not want to lose volume, but it really improves the quality of that distortion effect that we've got added to this pad. You might have experienced digital distortion or harsh clipping when using effects such as phasers, choruses and flanges, and that's because they're moving all around the frequency range, particularly in the mid to upper mid range frequencies, and putting spikes in that sound and creating distortion. So again, this is a great way to avoid or at least reduce any possibility of clipping or distortion when using those type of effects. And that's pretty much it. That's how we can simply gain stage in the MPC, but also any other hardware or software synth where we've got these controls to reduce the volume that's being fed into our effects rather than using the main volume for that sound, which in most cases will be post insert. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the next one. This is Tubedigga, and I'm out.